Alright, let's talk about heroic age of exploration. We're fed this romantic image of brave adventurers like Columbus, Magellan, Cortez, visionary navigators with chiseled jaws staring bravely into unknown, charting new worlds for God and glory. The reality is that most of these guys were just glorified lost tourists with superiority complex and license to kill. First, let's be clear about their navigation skills. They were terrible. Columbus thought he was in Asia. Magellan was looking for a shortcut to Spice Islands and accidentally found a new ocean he didn't know existed. These men weren't masterfully plotting courses. They were sailing into giant global fog bank, hoping to bump into something profitable. Their voyages weren't calculated expeditions. They were high-stakes Hail Mary passes thrown by desperate monarchs. And when they inevitably bumped into land that wasn't on their map, what was their reaction? Was it, oh fascinating, a new civilization with its own complex history and culture? Absolutely not. It was, where's the gold and why aren't these people Christians? They didn't discover anything. They just showed up uninvited to a party that's been going on for thousands of years and immediately starting judging the host. This is where the blaming the native parts comes in. Every single problem they encountered was the fault of the indigenous people. Scuttled your ship because you were a bad sailor? The natives must have bewitched the waters. Your men are starving because you didn't pack enough food and have no idea how to live off the land? The natives are savages for not giving you all their stuff. You started a fight because you can't communicate and you're trying to kidnap their chief? They're hostile barbarians for defending themselves. The entire narrative of exploration is built on this foundation of projection. The Europeans were the ones with the advanced weapons, the insatiable greed and genocidal germs. But in their own journals and reports they were always the victims. They were just poor, pious explorers trying to bring civilization to a world that stubbornly refuses to be civilized in the way they wanted. It was the ultimate gaslighting on a continental scale. Take the Spanish conquistadors. They weren't explorers, they were armed robber barons, and few hundred men like Pizarro didn't conquer the Inca Empire because they were brilliant strategists. They conquered it because they stumbled upon a civilization in the middle of a civil war, had horses and steel, and most importantly brought smallpox, a biological weapon that killed millions before a single sword has been drawn. They didn't win a heroic battle, they won a biological lottery, then took a credit for it. So the heroic age of exploration was never about heroism or discovery, it was about collision of the worlds. On one side you had a bunch of lost, greedy and often incompetent men armed with guns and germs. On the other you had millions of people living in a complex, functioning societies. The result wasn't a glorious meeting of cultures, it was a catastrophe for one and a payday for the other. They weren't heroes, they were just winners of the history's most one-sided lottery, and they wrote the story to make themselves look good.